We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one where we bear the interview season 2. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet. I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing swell. How are you doing?
Ooh, doing good. I had the I had the YouTube our YouTube channel open so I could comment on it under my own name, and I forgot to hit mute, so it was playing the song over again when it ended. So I was like, wait a second, and then I managed to
I promise
mute
I
it.
didn't screw it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, what happened? Did I do something? We just recycling the song over and over and over again. It's going to be like
It's like the laugh track.
like that laugh track, yeah, that you put on there.
I mean, does that mean we need to check out the laugh track, see how it's working?
just to see if it's working. Let's just test it out.
We totally could.
Tester. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. What's up, Zeddy, Eric, and Jeff? Chris, one thing we don't talk about a lot on our show, we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, and comics. One thing we don't talk about very much is music. I was thinking about that today. Why don't we talk about music? Or why isn't music... Is music a nerdy thing? Much like... Well, the sports aren't... Or like movie, TV shows, like they're not necessarily nerdy. But what's the deal with music? Why isn't music in our conversation, our top of mind? Like for you, I think it's for you. Like I think you're one of those TikTok music people where you like TikTok music and things that happen on TikTok. So you like trendy music. But
the way you say that makes me uncomfortable.
No, it's not meant to make you feel uncomfortable.
You're a schemer. You had plans.
Yeah. How come we don't talk about music, Chris?
You know, ironically, that's a topic I always wanted to bring up on here, but I figured nobody will care. So
fair.
That's kind of because I was like, well, what does everybody else listen to? Yeah, but no, I wouldn't say music is a nerdy thing. It depends, I guess, how into it you are. Some people are like really into it. Like they can hear a note and say, that's that guitarist, and that's not me. Sure. I'm not that guy. But I like music, of course.
Sure. The thing I find interesting about music is that like it's almost like second nature just to always have music on. Mm-hmm. So like I don't know, like a movie you have to like sit down, like music you take everywhere, kind of like a podcast type of deal. And maybe that's why I don't think about music as much. And one of the things that, like I think we are both pretty in line with upcoming movies, comics, and TV shows. I'm not very much in line with new music that's coming out. Like, I don't know when the next so-and-so album. Like, I'll just, on my Spotify, there'll be something, or I'll see a tweet about it. I'm like, oh, there's a new album. Well, I guess I'll listen to it. I guess I'm not up to date on the new age music.
Thanks when to TikTok, I am.
See, exactly.
Really, though, like, I don't listen to actual radio. I listen to my Spotify, which is a collection of my own, like, songs, which that playlist has grown to, like, 3,500 songs at this point.
How can you even get through it all?
I don't. It's ridiculous. Whenever someone gets in the car with me, it's always an adventure because you never know what's going to play. Like you can have a Frankie Valli song playing, and then a song from like Judas Priest is next. And actually, that happened yesterday. I was listening to Breaking the Law right after Can't Take My Eyes Off You. So I listen to everything. It just kind of happens. But generally, yeah, I think that new music, I only hear it on TikTok because I don't listen to radio at all.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of music do you like to listen to? Like you just said, you got a pretty wide range on your list, but is there more of a genre that you lean towards?
What is the genre that like Bush would be considered? Bush, Evanescence, stuff like that. Is that alternative?
Alternative rock, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably my jam. I'm into that a lot.
Sure.
I like that. I also like a lot of like Queen, of course, is my favorite.
Right.
Can't go wrong with that.
Oh, that was kind of my thought, and what I'm hearing now. You're not a genre guy. You're just whatever you like.
Yes, I think that would cover it.
I feel like that's the kind of the way I go too. Like music aside from anything else is always very much mood based.
Like polka.
Yeah, like polka. There's like I haven't, in my experience, I haven't had a mood in my life that has deemed polka to be worthy enough. But I can't wait for that time.
You haven't?
Happen. That's right.
Spotify tries to keep me hip. Yes, that does happen too. I'm not plugged in when it comes to music.
Mm-hmm.
Someone did not wish Zeddy a happy birthday. um, yeah, I think music is a fun topic though. Like I don't know, who are some of your favorites?
Yeah, and well, that's what I was trying to think about. And like, I listen to lots of things. I listen to country. I listen to pop. I listen to classic rock. I listen to Canadian rock. Like, I listen to some rap, but not a lot. Depends on the artist, really. Like, I'll listen to Eminem. I used to listen to a lot of Eminem when I was in high school
Do you like
and
Eminem
college.
now?
See, I don't know. I don't know what he's done since. I don't know. I can't remember the one. I can picture the album cover where he's standing on a road.
Marshall Mathers LP?
No,
Or do
the
you remember it?
one before that one, I think.
Okay, I don't remember the name. Well, the one before that
Recovery.
was the first one.
Recovery is the last one that I listened to, which was in 2010. So over 10 years ago was the last time I
I
listened
enjoy
to.
Nickelback.
I despise Nickelback, so thank you for that. But yeah, so Eminem's the last time I listened to was in 2010. That's over 13 years ago. That's when I was in college. So, and that's the other thing. Like, I guess I listen to the bands that I like. I listen to their new music, but it's not like I find new bands. Do you find new bands nowadays?
Sometimes, but generally, it's not very often. Like I'll find
Yeah.
a new group. Like I just discovered Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to describe the music, but it kind of sounds like Depeche Mode if they were today, which
Hmm.
totally works for me.
Yeah,
And they
that's
have a
not
new
too bad.
song on the Insidious soundtrack called "Stay," and
Mm-hmm.
what is his name? Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a part of the song. He sings it. That's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. But yeah, no, generally I don't find bands I like, but when the band I do like puts out new music, I run to it. Like there was a new Michelle
Yeah.
Branch album recently, a new Bush album, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a hard time like starting new comic books. I can't start a new phase of music. I can't start with a new band. I like just sticking to stuff that I know because there's just so much. Like you said, you can have a playlist that's 3,500 songs and never get to the end of the playlist.
Well, it's set to random, so what will
Sure.
happen is I generally hear the same stuff over and over unless I keep skipping or I manually set up a queue.
Hmm. What about you ever listen to an album like all the way through?
Yeah.
How often do you do that? Because for me, recently, I've only started doing that with like in the last 2 to 3 years since I stopped having CDs. Like when I had
Oh,
CDs, that's when I listened to it. But once I got rid of CDs and stuck more with Spotify stuff, that's where I kind of picked and choose. But this week, recently, and even the last couple of years, I'll listen to an album all the way through, which I find very enjoyable.
yeah, I do that with Spotify now. And it's probably about the same for the last 2 years or so. I've started doing that because before, yeah, if I didn't have the CD, I didn't care,
Hmm.
or the tape, if you will,
Ooh, the tape,
the tape,
wild stuff.
the cassette tape
Yeah.
that you could make yourself.
Yeah, remember those burning
With a-
CDs and recording tapes with the two things, and you press the button and the play and
Mhm.
record at the same time. Wild stuff, man.
Felt like a real pirate.
All right, Chris, what'd you get up to this week? What'd you read? What'd you watch?
I read a few things. So
Hmm.
I read the new Moon Knight book, City of the Dead. I think that the author's name is David Prepose. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. I realized I can't pronounce anybody's names except my own. So that's where I'm at that stage of life where I'm not even going to try anymore. I mean,
That's
I
right.
would
Don't even
attempt
bother.
it, but unless I have something to go by, it's going to come out the way it comes out.
Hmm.
So I read that. That was a pretty good read. It's different from the Jed McKay stuff. It's
Hmm.
not. I assume it is in continuity, but it is a different beast at the same time because it's not that story. This is Mark Spector in that universe, but doing different stuff. So I read that. I was not a big fan of the art. The art was a little bit off-putting for me, to the point where I almost did not finish the book. But I'm glad I did because it has a really cool reveal at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of weird pencils, lines in it, like mostly body parts of people and
Yeah, the
way
anatomy stuff was
recorded.
just
Yeah,
not
really
there.
strange lines. Yeah, but that the reveal at the end, which like it's basically been teased. The Scarlet Scarab, her reveal coming at the end was very cool.
Mhm.
Um, did it feel like Moon Knight? Like it felt fairly simple to me. Aside from the characters that Moon Knight is fighting, like there's the Egyptian ones, like the what do you call them, the jackals, and
It was Jackson, yeah.
big wolves, and even the other reveal at the end, which the more creatures and stuff like that. That stuff felt kind of Moon Knighty to me. But what about the rest of the stuff? Like it was only Mark in
Mhm.
this. There's the other two weren't around. How do you feel about that kind of stuff?
It felt like Moon Knight because primarily the other two aren't like they're really not around nearly as much as they are in the show. The show had Steven so much, so front and center. That's not really the way it is. They have their parts to play, but they're not always there. I mean, Mark Spector is Moon Knight, so he is the focus.
Sure.
So it did feel like that. Also, you had the wacky stuff, which comes with him. You also
Mhm.
have the kind of the I don't want to say creepy because I don't consider it creepy, but the more mystical stuff, which
Mhm.
does go with him too. Being the fist of Khonshu, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, it feels like Moon Knight. It does. It just the art was difficult for me.
Yeah, a little difficult to wrap my head around as well. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's the
Just going
same
forward.
artist for the whole series though.
Yeah, I've checked. They're solicited until October the 11th, which is 4 issues, and it's the same person. So we'll see.
Yeah, and this is supposed to spin into the McKay run, which the rumor I don't know if it's ending, but it's called Last Days of Moon Knight. I think they confirmed. I'm not sure that they might be
Mm.
killing Mark Spector off.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Which is it is because you and I recently talked about that. Why is there not another Moon Knight?
Right.
Well, I guess Marvel may have been listening.
Yeah. You're
So
welcome.
you are very welcome, Marvel. I hope it's good. So yeah, I read that. That was a good time. I read another issue of the Joker with the Batman baby book.
Amazing.
It is amazing. It is so much fun, and it's just wacky bullshit.
Hmm.
That's all. It's wacky bullshit. It's a good time, and the art is really nice. Actually, I think the Joker looks fantastic.
You like the black and white, or I don't
So
even
the
know what
black and
it
white took some getting used to,
white
but
color.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I think it makes it a little bit more distinct. But I do wonder what the color version would look like.
Hmm.
I'd like to see it colorized, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, aside from those, I just read a lot of Night Terrors.
Hmm.
And I think I've been gushing
You
over
read.
Night Terrors for weeks now.
We both read Blade, the first issue of
Oh,
that
yeah, Blade. I forgot.
as well. How'd you feel about? I liked the action in Blade, specifically just nonstop, vampires getting their heads cut off, which I was a big fan of. How'd you feel about the first issue of Blade?
Well, I miss Khonshu and his voice. But I really love the first issue of Blade. I thought that it felt like one of the movies. I agree. It was very cinematic.
Mm.
The art is fantastic. The flow of the story is good. It's very quick. Um, I like that Blade is not incredibly talkative
Sure.
because I think that was a problem in the movies. They made him really talkative to the point where he was like a parody in the third one.
Yeah.
It was kind of like you were just waiting for Wesley Snipes to say something horrible, you know?
Hmm.
As in the first one, he's a little bit more reserved, and I think it works better. So the comic perfectly mimics that, and I like the character design too. I really have no complaints on it. I I I'm not sure if you had to read Daughter of Blade first though. I don't
Mm.
think so.
There was some stuff at the start that I felt like I was missing a little bit of.
Yeah, maybe we were supposed to read Daughter of Blade. I'm not positive. I didn't really like Daughter of Blade very much. I tried it.
I'm looking at the solicits for Blade, and on Marvel, they do the legacy thing in the top corner. It's only legacy number 29. There's only been 29 Blade books in existence.
Really? Well, I get the Tomb of Dracula is where he debuts, and he's in that for a little bit. But I guess maybe just a regular Blade book. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that seems wild that they've only done 30 issues of Blade, and specifically, especially since like the Wesley Snipes ones, like you'd figure there'd be a Blade book out since then, nonstop. I don't know. Blade isn't a popular character. Is that a thing?
I think he is, but he's one of those characters. I don't think writers really know what to do with them. I think there's a lot of characters like that. Writers just don't know what to do because he's a half vampire, of course. So how many stories can you tell of him just killing a vampire or chasing Dracula? And you can't kill Dracula off because he is a character in the Marvel Universe.
Right.
He's been tormenting the X-Men for a while for whatever reason.
For some reason.
Yeah, whatever the reason is. So yeah, I think that's what it is with Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Phil started the Joker book, and yes, one of the wackiest things I've ever read. I agree. It's so
nice.
Eric says his Blade does the talking for him. It does in the first movie. I wish Khonshu would make Emmet nice to me again. We'll have to get Blade based on this. Didn't originally get it. Just want Marvel to fix their paper stock. I read everything digital now, so I don't know.
Is that a thing, Jeff? Their paper is no good for all of their books? Hey, Aaron. Nice to see you from tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't bought a Marvel physical issue in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Digital has just been way better for me. I actually read stuff when it's digital.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very convenient.
It is. You can read it anywhere. It's nice.
Nice.
And I think the colors pop a bit more digital.
That's an interesting thing. I guess it would depend on what you're reading it on. But yeah, and if what Jeff's talking about, if the paper's not any good, then I don't know if that transfers over. Like it's a digital copy. Damn.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Digital for the win.
For the win.
Right. Blade #1 is also for the win. I liked it. Looking forward to more of it. That's what I read.
Cool. Nice.
What did you read?
I don't know if I read anything aside from I read Blade and Moon Knight as well. Just double checking the Vicious Circle #2 came out last week or this week.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read it yet because I've been waiting for my physical, and I just really, really want to read it on physical.
Bermejo's different.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I did want to check out was there was a Mark Millar book that came out this week. Or I forget what it was called, but it's kind of like brings together like he's really starting to blend all of his universes together.
Okay.
So like Kick-Ass is going to be in one or in this, and then there's something else. And what's that one you were reading?
Nemesis.
Nemesis. I think it's all going to be connected somehow. So I was going to check out some kind of that. I don't know if that was this week or maybe it was last week. I can't remember.
I didn't see it. I didn't know what was happening either, though.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't read much else other than that. So pretty light reading. Oh, that Big Game #1 is what it's called. That's it.
I saw that. What?
Kick-Ass, Kingsman, Nemesis, The Magic Order, and all the Miller World franchises in one special event. There you go.
Well, I might check that out. Then I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, you were on a little bit of a Mark Millar kick for half a second or two.
Yeah, about half a second. I mean, it's cool. I couldn't keep up with. There was more stuff coming out at the time and things. So.
Always.
I might go back to it.
Yeah, so light reading from me this week. What about watching, Chris? What did you watch this week?
I watched a lot of stuff. So Justified has returned to TV.
Yes.
I watched the first episode of, is it Primeval? Primeval, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Primeval? That's a good question. I
have no idea.
I'm not good with those things.
Yeah, it's a new Justified series. I watched the first episode of that, and I really liked it. It's cool to have Raylan back on screen.
Love Raylan Givens.
I do too, and I like that it doesn't feel like the character skipped a beat, even though he's clearly.
He looks exactly the same age too.
No, he looks older to me.
Does he? Oh, in the commercials, he looks exactly the same.
When he takes off the hat, you could see it. He's
yes.
he has aged a bit, but that was really good. I enjoyed that. It's just cool to have him back. I really love Justified. It's one of my favorite shows. So it's cool that they're doing this. I don't know how long it's supposed to last, but I'm in. I watched that. What We Do in the Shadows, of course, which is always a good time. And I watched some movies. I actually I've been putting off watching Dunkirk for a long time because I don't like war movies.
Well, why not?
I just don't like them. I don't know. They're not my thing.
Like the realness of them. I know you like action movies.
I do, but I think I saw Pearl Harbor when it came out. I was like, you know what? This genre of film does not work for me. Right. And I swore them all off at that point. Like, okay, if this is what a war movie is, I'm out.
Yeah, if that's the benchmark, yikes.
That is the benchmark I have because I don't think I've seen any other war films. Unless Forrest Gump counts, because I love Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's right. Half hour of him in Vietnam.
It might count. I don't know. Or there's also the opening of Wolverine X-Men Origins. There's that. I like that.
Whole bunch of war movies in one.
Yeah, you get all the wars, all the important ones.
All the wars.
Yeah, all the wars. But I finally watched Dunkirk, and I thought it was really good. I was surprised by how much I liked it. It's not as I don't want to say complicated as Nolan's usual stuff. It feels like it's much more straightforward, except for the different timeline thing. He loves his timelines.
He loves his timelines.
Like it's like he's not able to make a film just go from A to B. It's very rare that he can do this. But
I wonder if he doesn't even try anymore.
I don't think he does.
Let's see what I can do this time.
I guess he knows that we expect it, so it's fine. Like even Interstellar, I love Interstellar. I can't tell you what the hell's going on at the end, but I love it.
I agree with you. It's my favorite Nolan movie, but once he goes into the black hole, I got nothing for you. I have no idea what's happening.
I know I like the bookcase thing. That's a beautiful scene.
Sure.
Beyond that, I don't know.
No.
And that's fine. But yeah, Dunkirk was pretty good. I like seeing the cast in it. Really, really good cast. Also, that's the first Cillian Murphy of the week I saw. First Cillian Murphy movie of the week.
Nice.
I also watched X-Men Days of Future. No, I'm sorry. Last time we talked about that. I'm looking at my letterbox list. Before we get to Oppenheimer, which is the gem of the week for me, I watched a movie on Netflix last night called They Cloned Tyrone. Have you heard of this movie?
I watched the trailer for it, yeah.
Okay. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't know what this movie was. All I knew was the title. They cloned Tyrone, so I just assumed, okay, there's clones. That's really all I knew. Before I get to that, Jeff says Pearl Harbor, the war film to end them all. But yeah, so I had no idea what it was. I just figured it was, there's some clones in there. I kept seeing reviews that it was really fun and all this other stuff with some comparisons like Cabin in the Woods, which I love. RoboCop,
really?
Which I love. Total Recall. Like all these movies, and I'm like, I like that. Why am I not watching this? So I watched it last night, and it is every bit they said it is.
Nice.
It is about clones. That's not really a spoiler; it's in the title. But the way it works out is very interesting. It's not what I expected. It's a much bigger story than I thought it was, and the cast is really fantastic. Like Jamie Foxx is perfect in this movie. And I don't even really like Jamie Foxx much.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that might be a hot take. I actually don't care for
that might be a hot take.
Yeah, I think he's fine in Ray. But other than that, I don't really, He's Jamie Foxx.
That'd be an interesting poll for science maybe one day. Do you like Jamie Foxx? He feels to me like one of those beloved actors.
I think he is. And it's probably not the time to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe later on.
Died or something, right?
Something like that. So maybe we'll get to that later. But he's really good in this. It's funny. It's got a point to it. It actually has there's a real thing going on there, and it's just fun to watch this mystery unfold. Because when it starts, you have no idea what you're watching. It really is like a Black Mirror the movie.
That's right up your alley right now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's like a 2-hour Black Mirror episode with actors you like. Because John Boyega is fantastic in it too.
He just needed to get away from Star Wars very badly, I think. Is that movie that we're eventually going to watch, Attack the Block? He's in that. He's supposed to be very good in that. There was one other one that he was in recently too. I think he's quite good in. I can't remember what it was.
I think I saw it and I agreed he was quite good, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember anyways. But yeah, and it's got what's her name from WandaVision too, right?
That
like
is
Monica
her,
Rambeau.
yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that who it was?
okay.
Who I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, she's also really good at it. So yeah, they clone Tyrone, very good time. But the gem of the week is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is incredible. From start to finish, that 3-hour film just sucks you in. And it's horrible and it's beautiful at the same time. I say horrible because of what it is. I mean, it's the atomic bomb.
Yeah. Can I ask you about the horrible nature of it? And like we obviously understand what the the nuclear bomb and everything that did, but how do they show that in the creation of it?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you show how bad it actually was, and we know it to be, but how do we know that how do they show how horrible it is in the creation of it? Because like in the trailer, there's the whole idea. Matt Damon says, if you're telling me I'm going to press this button, the whole world's going to blow up. Like, is that the kind of stuff that it's just you're told and shown, like how horrible this bomb would be?
You're not really shown a lot. It's more theoretical, which they make a point to say throughout the movie. This is theoretical and whatnot. And yeah, no spoilers. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's hard to say without spoiling. But you get the point of it when you're watching it. It makes total sense. What did they do? You know what I mean?
Okay.
What have you all done? It makes sense.
Yeah, sure. That's fair.
And
what about like in the horrible sense of it? But from what I thought I understood from the stuff that I read about it, like the visuals of it were very good. Like the visuals of the bomb and the creations of the bomb, and like I don't know how to explain what stuff that there was shown, like scientific-y stuff. That stuff's all really cool and beautiful.
It is. It really, and it's not. It doesn't like go over your head. They introduce it in a way to where you can understand it, which is nice. Because I don't know how many of us are nuclear physicists, so it's nice that they explain a way that you can understand it. And Zeddy kind of nails it here. The movie is more or less you as the audience member are living in the moral complexity of the decision. That's basically what it is. And the performances, they really sell it.
We were talking about how Nolan's a little confusing. Is Oppenheimer like that too? Like just the back and forth and the timing and the like Tenet, Interstellar, Inception, that kind of thing?
There is some jarring stuff toward the beginning, yeah. But you get used to it. Much like his other films, because he just can't. A to B is not a thing.
Can't help himself.
He wants to know how Killian's mushroom was. The explosion is fine, if that's what we're talking about.
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
I don't think it is. I will say the rumored scene was greatly exaggerated. It is not what was on Twitter.
It makes me so sad.
I'm sorry.
Why would people do that? I don't get it. Why?
You know what? I don't know where that even came from now. I have no idea. And I'm glad that wasn't what's in it. So that was nice. But it's kind of like, where did this come from? How did it get so widespread?
Yes.
Because everybody believed that was a thing.
Yeah. Well, I think Ian had posted it that there was 3 tweets in a row or somebody, and they were verified at the time, whatever that means now. But they all said the exact same thing. Like, they were just like, there's no way that's in the movie. And then like it wasn't on any big websites, but it was in a lot of sites. Like, so, and it was just more or less the rumor was so ridiculous it had to be true.
That's the thing too. Like, you figure who's gonna make this up?
Yeah, exactly. Who would make this stuff up?
They did. Both Barbie and Oppenheimer had crazy reaction reveals that turned out not to be true. I think Barbie did have one too. I don't remember what it was though. I haven't seen Barbie, but Oppenheimer is a gem.
Nice. One of is your favorite? I don't know. You like Batman Begins? Maybe just leave the Batman stuff out of it.
Even with the Batman stuff, I would say it's like top 3.
Nice.
I think it might have pushed Interstellar out of my favorite, my early favorite list there.
Oh, cool.
It's really good. I can't wait to see it again.
Are you gonna go to the theater again or just wait?
I'm gonna go to the theater again because I'd like to see it in 70 millimeter if I can. We have a 70 millimeter theater.
Would you see a Dolby? You said you were going to see Dolby, or
I ended up seeing that. So I accidentally booked the ticket for the wrong day, and I didn't realize that. So that ticket was Dolby, which would have been great, but when I realized, oh, I messed up, there was no Dolby available for the next day, so I just saw it on IMAX, which is my preferred anyway. So
very
it all
cool.
works out.
All worked out in the end.
It all works out. But yeah, that's all I watched. What'd you watch?
The really only thing for me this past week, I think I watched other stuff, but The Bear season 2 was released in Canada on the 19th. So I watched as much as I could, and I stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning watching 8 episodes, I think, and then there was 2 or 3 final ones. I watched them the next day. I talked about this, and we talked about this. I asked you the question about if a show is so new in its infancy as a TV show, only 1 season or 2 seasons, can it be your favorite TV show of all time? And I was kind of worried and questioning that in my head, whether or not that could be true or not. And then so I watched season 2, and it is one of my favorite shows of all time. With some of the best episodes that I've seen, and some of the best acting in those episodes that I've ever seen in a TV show. I had a quick little kind of a conversation with Mr. C on Twitter about it, and I thought about Mr. C a lot when I was watching the show. The show is based in Chicago, where Mr. C, the Carusos, and Zeddy live. The little bit that I know about Mr. C, he was in the restaurant business for a while. Again, the little bit that I know about Mr. C and his family, who are they are Italian, much like the Bear family is supposed to be, even though they're a bunch of white people
Italian
in the show. Yeah, that's right. So I thought about Mr. C a lot, actually, while I was watching it, and he mentioned it to me how he found, and in my tweet, I said that the TV show spoke to me as a person, and he said the same thing in those senses about Chicago, the restaurant, and the family thing. And where it spoke to me was trying to find happiness when you don't think you deserve happiness, trying to find or to tell yourself that you're a successful, good person when you don't think that you are. And in this season, that in this season specifically, that happens a bunch. To the main character, he doesn't think he deserves happiness. To the main character's cousin, he doesn't think he's a good enough person in his job and his profession, so he doesn't think he deserves anything. And so that's a big thing for me for most of my adult life, is trying to feel comfortable with myself, whether I'm winning at something or whether I'm losing at something. And what The Bear season 2 was for me was that it's very hard to accept when things go well, and specifically, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. The show's been out for a while for you guys in America. Jamie Lee Curtis is in the show as the main character's mom. And there's a scene towards the end of the episode where the main character, he opens his restaurant, and his mom is invited to come watch, or to come to the restaurant or whatever for opening night, and she can't go inside, and because she can't see her family doing good things, because in her entire life she thinks she messed up and she screwed up every moment of their life, and she says that she doesn't know how to say sorry. She doesn't know how to correct and amend everything that she thought she did to them, even though they are so happy now, or they think that they're so happy opening this restaurant and being successful and all this kind of stuff. So it's an incredible show, aside from all this meaning about finding happiness when you don't think you deserve happiness. But the show is so perfectly acted. John Berthnall is one of my favorite actors of all time. In this show, he's only in 1 episode. In the first season, he's only in 1 episode.
I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah, he's the main character's brother who he kills
Oh,
himself and leaves his restaurant to the main character.
well, that's horrible.
Yeah, and like in every time that you see him, he's not like he's supposed to be. All that kind of stuff. So John Berthenol is so good. Bob Odenkirk's in this season 2. Oliver Platt is in both seasons. He's very
Oh,
good. I love Oliver Platt. I can't remember the woman's name. Shit, she's in American History or American Horror Story. I can't remember her name. Anyway, she's in it. John Mulaney's in it for one episode. There's one episode where you actually get to see the entire family, and it's a whole bunch of little small cameos of people. So it's really
I've heard about that, but I've seen people complain about it. Actually.
yeah. Well, I think they're complaining because it's supposed to be an Italian family, and it's just a whole bunch of white people.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I think their last name is Barrazzo or I don't know how to pronounce it right now, but it's an Italian family. There were like the restaurant was an Italian sandwich restaurant, and like the mom's Jamie Lee Curtis and the uncle's Bob Odenkirk. You know,
It sounds kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Laurie Strode in the Halloween movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you watch Halloween 2018, that's kind of the way she was.
Yeah, she looks just like that too. She's old and haggard and got way long gray white hair.
There you go.
Anyway, so the show is perfectly acted. It's really well shot. I love the length of the episodes. Some of them are 30 minutes. The real big episodes, an hour long. And that hour-long episode is like going on a roller coaster for an hour at the fastest speed possible with people yelling and screaming at you at every angle. And like I was talking to my mother about this, I was trying to explain it to her a little bit. It's a very stressful show to watch, much like I think the restaurant business is. So it really, in being in a big family, a big dysfunctional family, they do a really, really good job at making you really feel that intensity and that uncomfortability that it is. I hope they make a season 3 just because I want more. But if they end it with season 2, I'm okay with that too. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm so glad that I finally, ended up watching season 1, I think at least a year after it came out. I watched season 2 as soon as it came out, and now I'm upset that I hate watching shows and like, oh, I guess that's it. But it was so good, and I just want to be in that world again and just experience
That's kind of
it
like
all
the
over.
weekly drops.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like the 30-minute episodes, and I think there's 10 episodes, so like it doesn't take you that long to watch it. But if it was spaced out, I think this would have been a good show if it was weekly. I'm not sure.
Oh, Andrew also can't wait to see Oppenheimer. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to watch it. I suppose
I think
I'm
you
gonna
should.
have to.
I think you like it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to move that up on my list. Plus, I think that the shows I'm watching, they're all weekly anyway, so I could watch something like this. Other than Black Mirror, which I just kind of watch at my leisure.
What we do in the shadows is weekly.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's a weekly delight for me. Oh, also, speaking of, real quick, you and I talked about we didn't have a trailer for Only Murders in the Building season 3.
Right.
I saw one while watching What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu.
Oh, really?
So there is a trailer. Yes.
That's weird. Like
that's what The Bear is on too, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here. That's right.
It's FX,
yeah, then here's Hulu.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
Oh, I didn't know that there was a trailer already.
Mm-hmm.
I figured like it would be everywhere, but maybe
I thought so too. I was kind of surprised when it came on.
It missed the window of trying to get out to people because everything's all happening. This weekend was Comic-Con, so who knows when it was.
Yeah. Well, Hulu surprised me with that trailer, and also a new trailer for Voyage of the Demeter, which looks pretty cool.
The what and the what?
The Voyage of the Demeter, the Dracula movie that comes out.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, it looks cool.
Very cool. So that's all that I watched. So if you want to talk about, I think I want to talk. I want to hear you talk about a certain trailer.
Did you know that memory is a monster?
I've heard that.
I did hear that somewhere.
So yeah, it was a Comic-Con this weekend, and we kind of weren't sure what was going to be, being shown or not be shown. We've seen that Interview with the Vampire season 2 was supposed to have a pretty heavy presence at Comic-Con. Big ass posters all over the outside of wherever the building is. Teases from the Twitter account for the Immortal Universe. And more or less just a general, a general sense or a general idea of, they're filming season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. It's supposed to come out either by the end of this year or sometime next year. So, they hired a new Claudia. So a whole bunch of things were happening with Interview with the Vampire. And we were waiting for a trailer and hoping for a trailer. And we were hoping that it was going to be on Thursday. And it actually came out on Friday, I think. Or was it Saturday? I can't remember. Friday or Saturday.
Full Friday afternoon.
That's right. So, I don't know. We can say a little bit of spoilers for season 1 if you want, Chris. But you can hold your season 2 spoilers because you've read the book, so you kind of know what's happening. But I have a ton of questions about this trailer. But so what did you think about the season 2 trailer of Interview with the Vampire?
Well, did you know family is also a monster?
It's true.
That's what the poster told me. I don't know. So the trailer, I didn't know what to expect. You and I talked about. I just knew what I wanted to see, what I was hoping to see, which was I wanted to see new Claudia, and I wanted to see the theater. I got both of those, and I was really happy with everything else they showed. We get a lot of shots of Armand, which is cool, because in the first season we don't, you remember the way it ends. We don't know. So here we get to see him, and he looks sassy and horrible like Armand should be. I'm all in for that.
He looks definitely sassy. I think that's a great word to use.
Armand is a sassy character, yes. Yeah, he's not friendly, which we will see. I've been saying everybody thought Lestat was horrible. Wait till you guys see Armand in action.
Right.
I would describe him away, but we're going to get the explicit rating. So we'll just call him a mother lover or whatever you want to say.
Mother lover.
Mother lover. That guy. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. The real surprise to me, though, was seeing Santiago in the trailer. I didn't think they were going to show him. I think they would show him so much. I can't remember the actor's name. If Cookie's in the comments, I think she knows his name. He was in the Exorcist TV series. And he's actually in Rings of Power.
Ben Daniels.
That's the guy. He looks fantastic as Santiago. He really does. And I didn't think they were going to show him as much as they do, but I love that they did. And they show that he is kind of the star of the theater, as he should be. So that was neat. And seeing the interior of the theater, I really was happy with that, because it's not supposed to be like this. Because I didn't know if they were going to make like a grand Broadway-looking theater, because that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a hole in the wall in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what it looks like. So I was really happy about that and seeing that stuff behind the scenes with it. The new Claudia, I don't know yet. I think I got used to Bailey Bass.
That's the trouble. I think it took us a little while to get used to her, and by the end, we loved her so much. And then, she's gone.
Right. It took a while to understand, that's what she's doing. And now this actress looks like she's starting from the start, because when that one line we hear is very Hell Demon.
Yeah.
It's like we're going back.
Hell Demon. Yeah.
Yeah. And she looks younger than Bailey, which I was not expecting, because in the poster she looks older.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's a lot of Madeline. That's different. I don't want to get to spoilers, but you mentioned that I kind of know what's going on, but I don't.
Yeah.
Because I know the flow of the version I'm familiar with, but there's already differences in the trailer alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get that wonderful reveal at the end with the portrait of Lestat.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. So I love the trailer. I've seen it, just a handful of times.
For my own naivete, I don't know what I think you were telling me about this theater, and obviously I've seen the movie, but I really wasn't expecting like this to be like 100% of the trailer was the theater stuff.
Well, so this half of the book is a lot of the theater.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the theater. There is more to this half, but the bulk. So if the bulk of the first half is New Orleans, the bulk of the second half is Paris and the theater.
So is that a season's worth of stuff? That's kind of my.
Oh, they're going to make it a season's worth.
But is it like in the
Yeah,
movie?
you could do it.
Like, how long is it in the movie? Like,
The movie I'm going to say is about 15 minutes.
yeah, I was going to say 20 minutes, maybe, right?
Something
and obviously
like that.
they cut out a bunch of stuff, but
They cut out a very important thing that I won't spoil. Sorry.
Sure. Is the theater stuff season 2 worthy, like an entire season?
Mm-hmm.
Like and I guess they just add stuff that wasn't in the books, that kind of stuff, to breathe life into it a little bit more. But I don't know. You tell me. As for most of our talk when we were doing Interview with the Geeks, you and Cookie just kind of rolled me along there. It rolled me up the hill as you guys talked about it. So I just wonder about like if it's interesting about is Paris and the theater separate? Is there stuff that happens in Paris without the theater group? Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, without spoiling anything for anybody who hadn't seen the movie, at least, the second part of the book is Claudia and Louis traveling a bit, kind of getting into some light shenanigans until they land in Paris, where that's where a bulk of the story does take place, not just the theater, but actual stuff in Paris. So what I'm expecting is, I think the first season is 6 episodes, was it?
Oh, shoot.
I think it was 6.
More than that.
No, I think it was 6, but 6 or 8. If this is another 6 or 8 episode season, I would imagine either 5 episodes take place in Paris or 7 episodes take place in Paris.
Okay.
Because there is, depending how it's handled, which again I don't know because it's different. There's a big difference. It's like as soon as the trailer starts. So we'll see what happens. But I also, there's that interview with Sam Reed at Entertainment Weekly, which you guys could check out if y'all want. And that also kind of cements this is not exactly like the book, which is what I expected. Sure. And after the first season, I trust whatever they want to do.
I was going to say you have to kind of suspend that notion that it's going to be exactly like, considering the way that season 1 ended and pretty much went all along. So one thing I thought was cool, and just for me, my favorite parts of season 1 were the moments with Daniel and Louis and the interview. That seems like it's still going to be cooking along. Basically, it looks like in the same setting, and Louis kind of in his condo or whatever now with the newly revealed Armand. So I'm interested to see how he plays into the interview now. If he's going to be, interviewed as well. Yeah, we'll see. I wonder if we'll get more of the what would they call it? The awakening or the reckoning or
that plot line. I have no idea.
Thing that they started and then didn't finish at all.
I forgot.
I wonder if we get more of that now. I think that would be cool, and I hope they do. Because again, the present day stuff was some of my favorite moments from the first season, so I look forward to that, and I'm glad they're sticking. It looks like it's going to be the same kind of format, just straight up interview, and then whatever Louis is talking about, we get to see. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with the format. That's the way it looks anyway. I think there's going to be plenty more of Daniel. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of Daniel.
Oh yeah, more than we got in season 1.
Well, maybe, yeah. Because I'm expecting them to add some new things.
Okay.
Because I don't think that reveal from the bar when they were young is the last we'll see of them young together.
Ah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I think that is going to be. That's right. It was called The Great Convergence. So I think we'll see more of Daniel.
How can you have such a cool name and then just totally drop it like that? Like, come on.
Because we got other stuff to worry about. The stats running around doing what he does, you got to follow that. He's making
running around, doing whatever he does.
Yeah, he's got a cool coat in the new season, which is a spoiler in itself. I don't know why they showed it, but
yeah, in the trailer, they see that.
No, in the picture from Entertainment Weekly.
Okay. So, what episode do we see Lestat in?
Oh, judging by the way they're doing, I have no idea.
Like this, and how much of the trailer is the first 2 episodes?
That's more what I'm curious about, because they're not showing you, like, they didn't show you the money shots. We get a glimpse of one of them. There is
Right.
a very quick glimpse that you don't notice unless you skim through it, and guilty. But yeah, I'm very curious about how the season's going to work because it's familiar, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the setting change is a big deal, and I realized that after watching the trailer.
Well, it's funny because they show like I remember, and I asked you about this, and I went back and watched the trailer. How much we enjoyed that first trailer, and one of the things that I mentioned was just that the setting of New Orleans, like they really showcased that it was New Orleans. In
Oh,
this
that's a time
trailer, I
period.
don't get the setting. I don't get the time period in this as much. Like there's a lot of alleyways with, you see some cobblestone or whatever, and you get
Motorcycles.
the inside of buildings. Yes, and on the motorcycles, but I don't think there's a shot of the Eiffel Tower. I don't know when it was built, stuff like that. But I
Well,
didn't get the setting, and maybe they're not done filming yet for one thing,
that
and
too, yeah.
obviously there's the delay because of the strikes and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't get that same sense of the aesthetic and the setting and the time.
I
Like I think
it'll
there's
be
a little
there.
bit. There's a war shot or something. And like I think it's Louis and somebody running away. Look like they got some guns in their hands and there's an explosion.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know because again, that was one of the things I really liked about the first season was they included the realness of I think it was the World War I or II.
One.
Shit.
This one, but this takes place in the 40s, I think.
Right. So World War I, there was the inclusion of World War I as they were talking about it. I remember that reading the newspaper or whatever.
It was a radio
so I like
thing.
that. Yeah, the radio thing. That's it. So I like that inclusion. I hope that carries over to season 2 because obviously Paris gets decimated by World War II and all that kind of stuff. So I like that aspect of it. So yeah, maybe with the second trailer was story. Like, I don't know. This was only a teaser, I think, because there wasn't that much on-screen dialogue aside from the Claudia one specifically. There's a lot of voiceovers.
A lot of voiceover, a lot of Sassy Armand looks.
It's just staring at people.
A lot of Santiago looking nuts. I can't wait to see when he gets off the leash.
Who, Santiago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see how miserable Louis can become from that point on.
always here for sad Louis.
He's a miserable bastard. It's what he deserves.
It's what he deserves.
Yes. But yeah, the trailer looks great. The presentation they have was really cool too. They built Storyville. I don't know if you saw the details of it, but they built like a miniature version of Storyville outside the convention center where you could walk through, and they had actors playing parts. They had like memorabilia you can get, a lot of different things. It was very neat. And they actually built. Do you remember in the show how at a certain point in New Orleans they kind of got wise that Louis Lestat and Claudia never aged, so they would, like the witches would draw the circle around.
Yep.
Okay, they had
leave
that.
little things at their doorstep.
Yeah, they had that. And people were leaving things, which was cool. I saw somebody left a jar of jelly. For some reason.
Oh, red jelly? Is it blood?
Maybe. I don't know. You never know what people have.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, so that was the season 2 trailer, Interview with the Vampire. And it says 2024.
Yeah.
Obviously, I bet you a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, they had a date for it, and then they, as soon as the strikes came around, they kind of pushed it off.
Well, it was rumored 24 anyway because we were supposed to get Night Island this year, but I don't think we're getting Night Island.
Oh, right. Jesus, yeah.
I think Night Island is pushed.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully we find out soon. Hopefully it's early 2024. I would suspect maybe February or so, but that all depends on the strikes and when they get back to filming.
That would make me happy.
Yeah, it makes everyone happy.
Did you know love is also a monster?
Everything's a monster to you.
That's what the posters say. It's not my
posters
fault.
You need on your house.
No. Well, I do want them. they have smaller ones, and they also have new merch. They finally have a zip-up hoodie with Interview with the Vampires logo on
it. That's going to be yours.
It is.
It shall be mine.
Yes, I'm looking forward to ordering it. Well, I don't know if it's available yet.
Soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to chat about before we get on out of here?
No, I'm just looking forward to this week. We got a lot of stuff coming.
Mm-hmm.
More Night Terrors, Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. Yeah, excited for that, eh?
Yeah, the new Nicolas Cage movie is supposed to be this week, but there's like no listing for it.
Hmm.
Cookie says their merch is terrible. It is, but they have some new stuff. Like there's like 4 new items. It's just a couple of T-shirts and that hoodie. But the rest of it, yeah, it's terrible. TMNT. TMNT is next week, Zeddy, isn't it?
The second, I think it comes out. Yeah.
Well, Zeddy and I got tickets for an earlier showing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Me and my son are going to go see that for sure.
Nice. But yeah, it's going to be a fun week. Haunted Night Terrors, Haunted Mansion, and Nicolas Cage for me.
In that order.
In that order, yes. The Nick Cage movie looks like a lot of fun.
Right on. All right, hit us up with some plugs then, Chris.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter or X, whatever the hell it's called at the moment.
Jesus.
That Chris70. You can also listen to the podcast I do with my buddies Phil Walsh and Anthony Caruso called DC Unlimited. We're DC Unlimited Pod on Twitter or X. And as always, I'd love it if you would follow this show at G of the Geeks. Emmet is better at the rest of the plug, so he will take over.
You can follow me on Twitter at Emmet Davis7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube. And wherever you get your podcast, just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. I want to say thanks to Eric, Cookie, Phil, Andrew, Jeff, Ian, Aaron. I think that's everybody. And I suppose Zeddy as well. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll check you out next Sunday. In saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Have a great week, guys.